We say a lot of things on this podcast, and there's really never any more opinion than what we have here. So, with the world that we live in, there's plenty of ways to reply. And so what are these people even saying when you're talking about responses to metal t-shirts or 5 black metal bands that suck? Did one of those members hear it and had something to say? I wonder. And it'll get much more exciting than this intro, so stick around. Hellcast. For Reaper Metal Productions, this is Hellcast, and like every episode, this is brought to you by the good people at Hells Headbangers, and that would not be complete without J-Dog here by my side. And this week, we wanted to definitely dive into one of all the various conversations we've been having here on the show. You know, we're talking about comments on t-shirts and how you know that a guy talking about your Incubus shirt, pardon me, has nothing to do with what we're truly wearing, and I could spot that a mile away. There's 5 black metal bands that I know you don't care about. All these, the latest and the greatest conversations that we've been having. I haven't heard them, you might be thinking. Well, that's why you need to check out this link right here on the screen or go into the description. Wherever you're consuming this, the information is supplied for you, so just scroll down or do whatever you got to do to find it. But today, I figured we would dive into some of those responses that have been plaguing us from the internet, whether they be bad or good. They're frankly just kind of interesting and open up the other areas of topic. But before all that, we were having such a nice organic conversation off camera about technology, and I thought that had everything to do with this conversation. So that being that we're basically, J-Dog made the assessment that when it comes to technology, you're kind of happy if it were to stop at one point because it's bringing all this yada, 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 things that I have cited as growing pains. You know, the conversation I made was that when you have the influx of, or the introduction of the car back in whatever early over 100 years ago, as that would have been, it didn't go 60 miles an hour. It looked like it was stupid. In fact, from the history that I understand, people laughed at it. Ha, ha, ha. Why would you ever use that and not use a horse? But that goes without saying that we obviously kind of just kept with it, stuck with it, and had the growing pains. That, when you take that analogy and bring it to the social media world, that everybody's becoming a wimp, which is one of those things that we said on this show, that we still have a continuing growing pain. And then J-Dog made the very interesting point that, look at athletes. I challenge you to find an athlete that pretty much, or really any successful person, be it art or sports and so on and so forth, that didn't really have a very kind of struggling upbringing. That
I'm not struggling. I said, like, no, find me one that comes from a wealthy background. Now,
there you go.
Before some smart ass comes in and says, oh, well, so-and-so on this team, he does. Find me 10 people that come from a wealthy background that are good athletes.
Well, you could obviously find a bunch that would,
like I said, there's an exception to every rule.
Yes.
But most of them take I don't, you know me, I don't follow sports, but someone like, cause from Cleveland, like LeBron James.
Yes.
Who people,
from Akron.
Everyone knows it. Yeah, but I mean, his came from the hood.
Well, exactly. So most would have that story.
And I'm pretty sure, I don't know much. I'm pretty sure Michael Jordan was broke as a joke, his family. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure.
Well, you always hear about musicians and stuff, too. Yeah. So the point is, yeah, sure, you could insert some rich guy. For the most part, though, you're going to find somebody. And your point to that matter was that was obviously earlier than 2019 as now, and when even earlier than that now that we are here, and you didn't get a chance to say that, I say we're seeing an influx of successful people not having to have that fight, because they come from a well-to-do background, and that example becomes metalized because I just saw Iron Maiden, and the opening band flat out sucked.
Yeah.
And I forgot what they were called.
That's a prime example, because they're just being handed on a silver platter.
Well, because that opening band was Steve Harris' son's band.
Correct. And then look how it is. Like, it's like, and again, what I said, music's always in the eyes of the beholder. So like, well, just because you didn't like it, it's like, yeah, but this isn't even like anything I wasn't there, but based on what you told me, and I'll take your word for it, is it's not even anything reminiscent of what
the fan base wants to see.
Like I said, why not have someone like, they should have had someone like Lady Beast or Savage Master.
They were there.
No, but you know what I mean? Because those bands are, because Steve Harris, he doesn't know who the fuck that is. He doesn't listen to metal.
Right.
Like you said, I've told you like at the time, who's done it right, and granted they're nowhere near the size, and hopefully never will be, and it probably never will be because it's not commercially acceptable, is like Cannibal Corpse. They told me in person, I remember that when they first were bringing bands on the road that they could say, is like when I asked them on Bloodthirst, George and shit, they were bringing on death metal bands that they thought needed attention, that they like. They're bringing on Christian, The Crown, then it was Immolation, Deeds of Flesh. All those bands are in that fan base. Now, who are they bring on the road? On Hells Headbangers, Perdition Temple. That's what I'm saying. These Steve Harrises and all these other guys, they're not fucking metal, dude. They're not.
Well, and it's also not only that, it's like, okay, so then it's your kids. So it's like, it kind of goes back to your point of, and then me saying, I think, a lot of when it comes to a technology thing, especially with the social media, like there's going to be the growing pains that come with it. And right now we're going through those growing pains that I think equate to many things of technology, but I use the automobile analogy. So never minding that analogy and get back to straight to point though, I think that now we live in an age where we don't have, like you said, that starving artist that basically has to thrive, work to get out of that now when Steve Harris's son, he could just bring him on out, because why wouldn't he do that, kids? It's kind of like the point that smarter people than me that are in the field of psychology that understand this stuff say that, parents have a lot of responsibility with social media to get your kids and blah, 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 to, not be able to fall into that realm, that it's kind of the same thing. Like, you're kind of just disservicing your kid in a way by just throwing it out there, and then cool, he can just make his way to the top. It's not only that, like getting a free card, but it's also like, it's then what does that teach the future? Are we going to just have a bunch of, like, what's rock going to be like without, part of the attitude of metal and rock kind of music, hell, even rap, that makes it organic is that struggle and the being pissed off that makes it.
Yeah, but honestly, that's it. Only the way I see it, it only kind of helps the scene because it's what divides us. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that's why true metal fans know, like, that like I said, you go to the Maiden show. That, I mean, I like Iron Maiden, and a lot of the true metal fans do. But when you go there, if you're a true metal fan, you should recognize 90% of the people there are not into metal. And the fact that you can spot that, that's when you know you're a true metal fan.
Yeah. Well,
and that's what kind of divides you, because you're different from Raven, whatever fucking Raven shit.
Just let them,
because you can automatically spot that, where you're just like, this is garbage, and it's just a hand-me-down born with a silver spoon in your mouth. That's why when you get the pardon me guy, you just know he's a D-bag.
Which, great segue, because that is entirely what happened. I'm bringing up, I'm wearing that Incubus shirt. If you don't know, boom, like I said. And talking about how, yes, when you get that remark, you already know. And so a lot of people have definitely shared their experiences of their T-shirts that I would love to dive in here and go to YouTube and show you a few and read them off. Mozo or Mazo, I can't see it so far away, but
we'll scoot up.
Well, we got the best setup we got going on right now. But wearing band shirts is kind of asking for someone to notice you one way or the other. So when really I want to be left alone, I just wear a plain T-shirt, or I just turn them inside out. Back in the mid-'90s, an old lady at a convenience store told me my under a funeral moon shirt was scary. I was proud of that. Usually it's some old lady asking, "What does that say?" And all she could make out was entrapment of evil. I think he's jumping.
It's a good pick.
Yeah. Just the other day, some dorky-looking dude in the grocery store turns and says, "Nice Spectral Voice shirt." He had to have known the band, because there's no way he could have read the logo. Seems it's kind of like a banner saying, "Notice me, please." And
but honestly, I agree with him and I disagree with him. I see what he's saying about, just be left alone but wear a black shirt to get around it. I mean, that's not a bad idea. But honestly, like, part of the reasons I still wear band shirts, other than because I like them and that's what I have, is kind of like the opposite of what he's saying. What I mean by that is, it's kind of a principle. Like the principle statement. Because these Christians and all these other people walk around with their crosses and all this bullshit. I'm not allowed to say anything. Or at least if I do, I'm certainly fucking condemned for doing so. And I don't say anything. And it's not and I wouldn't just come out of the room to a total fucking stranger and make a comment for something I think they have the right to wear. So with that being said, why do I have to worry about somebody saying something to me by wearing something? I should be able to wear it, and you should shut the fuck up. because I have the right to wear this. You know what I'm saying? Why would you make dude, that blows my mind. Like I said, just like with the Christians. I don't like Christians, man. Don't like them. But I would never go up if someone says Jesus loves or whatever. I would never go up and comment on a shirt. Clearly, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even be a jerk to him if he was in the aisle in the grocery store. I'd be polite. I'd be friendly. Why would you comment on what someone else is wearing?
Like this, too. So looking at this comment, the mask and I don't know, right here where I'm showing you on my thing. Sorry if you're listening. Most of my cringy shirt comments come from people older than me looking at my Maiden and Sabbath shirts and telling me shit along the lines of, you two... you're
too young to like that.
Buddy boy, put Y-O-U-R. I
can't even see it.
Exactly.
I can already tell
you're too young to like them. Or I used to listen to them. Or do you know who they are? Obviously, it's always fat, balding people and haven't thought about the band since the 80s at best, holding on to their glory years that they have long since abandoned.
They didn't even have glory years because they were never truly into it. What do you mean I used to listen to them? What the fuck does that even mean? I didn't used to listen to anybody. I listen to the same bands I listen to.
What are you listening to now?
Exactly.
Silence?
Why did you? Yeah, exactly. So you said he's wearing Maiden and Sabbath. Oh, because you can't hear Sabbath on the radio. What do you mean I used to listen to Sabbath? That's the dumbest thing I've ever fucking heard. I could see one of these dumb fucks saying that too.
I get annoyed too.
And it's just like, why would you say, well, you ever heard of them? Oh, because they're super obscure. And that is like, well, because I'm a certain age. That's like saying like, so my age, which I don't like, but if I did, Elvis Presley. I'm not allowed to like Elvis if I want to.
Well, the irony of the situation is pretty funny because here it is, the guy like thinking he knew something. Presumably like oh my God, and it's like, how do you young kid, or just like maybe that he thought that they got lost along the way. But like the point is that the guy that thinks he's pretty much in the know is the one being informed, and it's just like, dude, it's kind of like it's like I opened the show with the T-shirt show, like, just please don't talk to me because it's like, dude, you're embarrassing yourself, and I know it.
Unless they're commenting because they're just a big fan themselves of it, of whatever you're wearing, automatically just don't talk to me.
Then the other thing that I wanted to point out was the good conversation of topic that was brought up by Bill right here that I can't see.
It's highlighted too. Did you highlight that?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say.
You need to do a podcast about etiquette of attending a concert. Should you wear a T-shirt of the band that you are about to see? How about listening to their music in the parking lot before the show? I'm a big no on both of these. Just saw Maiden a few weeks ago, and I swear I heard Children of the Dam at least 5 times while walking through the parking lot on our way to the ticket booth. Ooh, this is a good one. This is why I wanted to even bring this one up. Because
my say on that is listen and wear what you want, brah.
Pretty much, but I do see the gripe in it, that it's like, I mean, don't you? Okay, so I purposely wore the Sacred Reich shirt because they're coming to town in October. Did you know that?
No.
Okay. Well, they're coming to Cleveland, and I guess they got a new album that's already out, like you can even hear it.
Somebody told me about that, and like I said, I like Up to American Way, but I can't imagine I'm going to like the new one.
Exactly. So that's where I think the first point is that I get kind of, if you're like the latest and the greatest, and like, so the Maiden tour is called Legacy of the Beast, that if you're walking around with the Legacy of the Beast shirt and you're 10, then you got me, the guy that just ragged on the other guy, like, do you even know that? Not like, do we even know Maiden? But more just kind of like, oh, like you're a noob. And not that it matters or it's anything bad, but it definitely is a characteristic.
I can tell you what's going on. To answer his question is, when you're wearing a shirt of a band that's playing, it's kind of noteworthy and you get points if it's kind of like an obscure band. Like, for example, like when Slotbath played fucking Cleveland from Chile.
Yeah.
None of these Cleveland guys know who that is. So if you walked in already with the Slotbath shirt that they weren't selling there, not their tour shirt or whatever, automatically the band sees it too because there's probably 30 people there.
Yeah.
See you're a fan. That's pretty cool. Yeah, you automatically know you're a fan. You're there for the band, not just showing up because it's a cool thing to do. Like what this was Paul Bailoff. Yeah, Paul Bailoff says that. Yeah. Or you're just at the bar to have a beer. You know what I mean? You're legitimately there for Slotbath, right?
Yes. And I mean, it is still a 15-year-old's gripe and mentality to care all that much. Granted,
I don't care at all. I'm just saying that's how I would view it. I don't give a flying fuck what you wear.
Well, what about listening to them then? Because I think that would be the if you had to trade off one or the other, I think that would be the more acceptable. Like
the listening to
is
for
the show.
It can go both ways. It can go be fitting in because the guy who he's never heard him and he's on his way to a fucking Maiden show, so he's brushing up on the tunes.
Yeah.
That's
or excited.
You just but he's brushing up. But then there'd be the J-Dog or the metalhead who's got too much metal to listen to because I forgot more metal than those people know. So I'm brushing up because I'll be honest with you, man, I haven't listened to Iron Maiden in probably about 6 years. And not because I don't like Iron Maiden, it's because I got that much metal. So it's kind of like...
I heard a Maiden going on a few weeks ago. I think it was like a boot LP or something, though. A live LP?
Oh, yes, we did get some boot LPs, but that don't count. And
wait, because you're getting to know it even more. If you're listening to Maiden, you're diving into the rarer collection.
What
of
I'm getting at more so when I would do that is Maiden's a really bad example, too, because that's a pretty... you just kind of know it. Like, I know how fucking majority of their songs go, like their hits. I just know. I know how fucking, it goes. Even though I haven't heard it in 6 years. Who's a death metal band that's not really big, but not small either?
Suffocation.
Yeah, but I know their songs pretty well, too. Well, a little smaller than that.
Oh, geez, I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, because I was going to say, like, for example, the stuff, say they have like 3 albums, I haven't listened to them in a while, I was on the way to the show, I actually might listen to them to brush up on them. It's like, I haven't listened to them in about 4 years. I know I like them, I have them. Going to a show, get to know the songs a little bit more.
Okay, yeah.
But that's not Maiden. It's like, to me, if you don't know the Maiden songs, you just got into this shit last week.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everyone knows. If you're into metal, legitimately, you know Maiden songs.
And I think that's kind of the polar opposite.
But prime example, if you're a big Slotbath fan, and you listen to Slotbath on your way there, you're brushing up on the tunes.
Presumably.
That I understand that because I've done that and I see why. It's because it's like it's not exactly drilled in my head.
Which is the reverse point then to what I was going to say about here Sacred Reich, where in this shirt is like, if I showed up to the Sacred Reich show, I would be the guy kind of going like, I'm there to kind of put the ignorance flag in the ground to say, look, guys,
this is the good
no
album,
new shit,
no new
no
shit.
heel,
Correct.
no independent. Fuck, I don't even want to hear American way.
Here's
I
the best way. Here's the best way I could describe it.
Mr.
Yeah, that's actually a perfect thing I say. But here's the best way I could describe it to the guys that are just getting all fucking red cheeks mad because they're listening to Maiden in the parking lot. Those guys. It's not that it's not okay. You can totally do that. That's totally fine. I have nothing wrong with that or thinking anything bad with it. But for the majority speaking, people that do that, it reminds me of when Dio died.
Oh, God.
Nobody had anything to say about the guy in the last 10 fucking years when he was alive. At least nobody I knew. And then as soon as he died, I know people that are getting tattoos.
Yeah.
That's my favorite band. You always hear Paul's like, dude, I've known you for 15 years, and I've never heard you mention that guy's name ever, not once. Now you're the biggest fan?
The whole heaven and hell thing that came to fruition, because at first it was like Black Sabbath is touring with Dio, and then it was like they can't use the name, so they didn't call it heaven and hell. And then people went on, this is the MySpace days, and I remember people went
that was around 2008 when they were doing that.
Something like that, maybe a little bit earlier. So then people just in droves were like, I saw him, and him doing the Ozzy songs were way better, and it's just like, dude, nobody was ever fucking stroking it to Dio era Sabbath until that happened, and at least to the magnitude that this was, and
that was
no
annoying.
one in your age group,
but hang on,
our circle
that was annoying, but at least they were doing it while he was still alive. When he died, that was way annoying.
But it was,
dude, I'm not even joking. No names not mentioned. You know what I'm talking about. I'm telling you, man, like fucking literally tattoos.
But
and it's like I've never heard you mention this guy's name ever.
Well, I want to move on from that guy though, but curiously, because on that. When was it even? Because that was kind of my gripe with the whole Ozzy thing. He's better. That was just like in my circle. I remember, my age group friends circle that was very limited, but had. I remember when it was like, dude, I'm looking for the Black Sabbath classic set, and it's just like, oh, like why would you buy that over getting the Sacred Reich demo box set or Suffocation released? Like it was just basically like, why the fuck do you care about Radio Jam Sabbath? And it was like, touche. I kind of could agree at that point.
Oh, I never had that, but honestly, I didn't go, for Sabbath and Ozzy and Dio, even kind of Maiden, but they were pretty early on. I started buying their stuff later because I was more into getting the Sacred Reich, the Suffocation, the Deicide. That was more important to me. It's kind of like my dad's got Black Sabbath next door.
Exactly. I've heard it a zillion times. I don't care.
Honestly, I didn't buy a Black Sabbath album until I think I was 20 years old.
Yeah. Hell, truth be told, I think the earliest days of me owning Maiden, because I stole the tape. I'll tell you this much, and I'm going to leave it to rest on the Maiden thing. For the longest time, actually, I want to bring this up because people were moshing there. So I was talking to Bridget. I was talking to Bridget from Heavy Metal Relics, who definitely got a funny remark too, wearing a Deep Purple shirt. Like, I'm surprised you heard of them. Or a girl of your age is like, you're an old fucking horny fogey and you saw a cute girl walking around with a band you heard. Yeah. That's what really that was. No offense to her, but I think she agreed with that too, to a degree. Anyway, so then it's like, you're talking about this, so this Maiden, it's like, I was telling her, like, they're moshing in there, like, to Maiden? I'm like, I thought kind of the same thing. She's like, what song? I'm like, I kind of don't remember, but I think it was the Trooper.
I guess it does seem kind of...
It does. So then it's
I've never seen Maiden, so I don't know. Like, I mean,
moshing to Maiden. So anyway, so then it's like, moshing, like, so then it got me on my tangent. I was like, honestly, I gotta be frank, like, I that's why I was like kind of looking at it, I brought it up to her and you, that's like, I never really like even thought Maiden was this heavy band. Like their artwork eluded me way more than their music for the longest time.
Yeah, when we were kids, that's why I thought the same thing. Yeah, like I remember when I first heard them, I was like, this is much lighter than I thought it was going to be.
Yes, I think I even like. I think it was even slightly painful getting to know them.
I remember thinking two things. This is much lighter than I thought it was going to be, and I think Dad might like this. Honestly, that's what I thought. So yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. That was me as, I don't know, 12 years old, 13, whatever, hearing that, thinking that.
Paul certainly thought a lot when we made our metal best bass players are the best episode that we pretty much alluded and questioned, because we pretty much had a brain fart on camera of like who was the best, more notable death metal player, and then it became that we mentioned previously that Chuck Schuldiner, definitely agree, but he had a few more. So Paul mentioned Alan West, Trevor Perez, and the Hoffman brothers would be right behind Trey Azagoth.
No, I was well aware of all those.
Nice. He wasn't saying you weren't, but
no. But what I'm saying is like, because
do you agree?
Honestly, I don't know who would be the next in line. I just always remember. And it could have been just the few individuals I was around, is Chuck for sure, and then Trey. People just like, guitar guys, like the guitar guys. I never really heard of anybody else in death metal, people praising them as guitar guys. Usually when you heard guitar shit, it was for stuff like, whether it be Iron Maiden or just like bigger, like heavy metal type stuff. You know what I mean? It was never death metal.
Paul's remark went further that it's blasphemy that you didn't mention Paul Speckman or Steve DiGiorgio in a conversation about bass players. I think it would have definitely bailed out and helped made my point better.
I don't think it's blasphemy. I don't think it's blasphemy at all, because that wasn't. They didn't. Let's face it, Master extremely overlooked. Whether that's for right or wrong reasons, you know what I'm saying? Like
Deathstrike.
Dude, all that stuff.
I know,
like,
but I agree.
That's nowhere near the size of Morbid Angel and Death and Deicide. It just isn't.
But it does fit my mold, Paul Speckman, as an example.
Doing other stuff,
but he does fit that mold of what I made about the
as far as Steve, he was just kind of all over on miscellaneous albums. So it's like he wasn't doing other stuff really. He
does have one of the best bass sounds though.
On Sever Survival?
Yeah.
Oh, without a doubt. I'm not denying that. Oh, he's fucking great. Sever Survival, like. I don't want this guy to get there. She's knocking Steve and fucking Paul. Dude,
no, it just wasn't.
Unreleased 1985 album by fucking Master. I love it. And fucking Severed Survival by Autopsy is one of my favorite death metal albums. So I'm not knocking those at all. I'm just saying as a whole what the scene sees it at. See, like, I think some of these people that make comments and maybe some get butthurt. I don't know if they do or not. I don't ever read any of them. But I try to give my comments on stuff unbiasedly as best I can. Not what I like, based on what I see and what I see is how I see the scene seeing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was brought up though. There's Necromantia, that black metal band with no guitarists and 2 bass players. Regardless, death metal is always best with the bass very audible. Something like Rotrevor or Undergang might be less important if you were always paying a fast tempo, but the mid-pace death metal with heavy bass sound is much more disgusting. And I couldn't agree more.
I mean, Rotrevor. I mean, it's
great examples.
That's Rotrevor has one of my favorite death metal sounds overall, as far as
really
low, dark, heavy. Yeah, it's them like Incantation, Onward of Golgotha, and like Mortician. As far as just low, heavy, dark, those are probably the 3.
Remember when that Paul Speckman project? I think that's what it's called.
You're talking about the
Speckman project?
Johansson Speckman, or
no, that's something else. I'm talking about just the Speckman project. It came out. Area Death in China put it out, and then it was like it was like a long lost gem. I never heard of it.
I never picked it up.
What? Because there was nothing to pick it up for. It was all the same songs, only like done even more. Like it was just even more boring. I thought
Deathstrike, the fucking Death or whatever.
Yeah.
It was like
What about
a lot of it's.
Yeah.
It's like a few of the songs. Yeah.
For when I came
what
to
the fuck
it,
is this?
when I came to it, it was just like years after the fact that I wasn't like the Chicagoan that was so blown away.
First thing I
Granted,
heard,
it's
the
great.
first thing I heard by
I
Paul,
like
so
it.
and so the thing I like the most, but I think even if I didn't hear it first, I still think I would like it the most. It's just an exception rule. It's just ironically enough, the first thing I heard was the unreleased 1985 album. It was the Displeased Records pressing version. Was all that just that pile of skulls?
Yeah, I'm definitely stick with the 1985 album myself, and I want to leave this off then with a nice you might be thinking, does Hellcast have any fans? Well, hails Reaper, hails J-Dog, and even though he's not on anymore, hails Eddie Satan too. Just saw Eddie Satan at that Maiden show.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the reason why I
Guys
went.
wrote up.
Yeah. So my name is Nathan. I also use Anulos. I can't really see it from here, but it really sticks, kind of like it just did there. You know how it goes, Craig? So there you go. Smart-ass remark. The point is that it doesn't stick. I'm a fan of Hellcast, and getting that new episode notification was just lovely. I I have actually played it 4 or 5 times now.
Which one has he played 4 or 5 times?
Shirt
episode?
What's that?
It's the shirt episode?
Well, because we did 2 videos on YouTube.
But which one is he talking about?
Well,
is it
that's
that
what
one?
I'm saying. So we put 2 YouTube videos out 2 weeks in a row, and then by that Monday, those 2 episodes consolidated to make a full audio episode. Okay. So I think he's talking about that. So it would have been the metal bass players and, oh God, I don't remember what the conversation was. The t-shirt one? That was last week, though. I don't know. Well, the metal bass player and the t-shirt ones, that was last one. So whatever was the one before that, I don't want to waste any more time pointing it out. But nonetheless, it's there for the taking. I'll figure it out after the fact. Anyway, huge fan of Hellcast. Listened to it 5 times. Here's what is funny to me. I used to trade with Sergi, whom is the mutant behind Moloch. Not all of those releases are as crappy as what you played. But yeah, that one was total crap. Funny enough, I was inspired to take advantage of the $1 sale. Boom, there's that link in the description. Check it out. Hells Headbangers. And did not get any of the black metal you guys were rightfully laughing at on the show. Sorry, you guys. However, you were totally wrong on the opinion that entries in the cutout, I don't know, basically $1 sale CDs suck. Your brother called out some good titles, but 2 were left off, and that is... must point out, and I must point them out, October 31 and Thronium. If you're watching the screen, you can tell how bad of a reader I am.
I wasn't going to name off the whole 45 list,
and I wasn't going to say the whole 45-minute list sucked. It was 5 metal, black metal matches you didn't care about. That was the point.
That's why those 2 weren't in there.
Yeah, exactly. So I have listened to for every episode, but I won't bore you with examinations and criticism of each. I'm sure you've read enough over the time of the show's existence, and yes, I totally dig the way you and your brother communicate on the show, but Eddie is totally missed also. We could have him back on for an awkward moment, no? I don't even know if it would be awkward.
Why would it be awkward?
I don't know. I'm just trying to be an ass. I do hope to get back to more episode, and that is really the makes. I'm going to stop reading this because I'm butchering. I need a fucking screen that's bigger.
What's the question?
There was no question. I was just saying that was
saying how much he loves it.
I just wanted to give some social proof in case you're one of those guys that somehow made it to the end of this show, and then you're going to be giving it a thumbs down. God damn it, because those people exist.
Hey, they're allowed to give the thumbs down.
You ever watch or listen to the Joe Rogan podcast?
Once he interviewed Dorian Yates.
So you're familiar with the fact that he's a stand-up comedian as well?
No, he interviewed Dorian Yates, so I cared about that. I didn't give a shit about Joe Rogan.
Okay, that's fine. I hardly do either, and I like more of the people that he has. But anyway, he did have a funny bit though. That was how many YouTube videos do you think Michael Jordan commented on?
That Michael Jordan himself commented on in general?
Exactly. The point of the matter is successful people don't waste their time ragging on YouTube videos, and they certainly...
Michael Jordan commented went on a video.
Yes,
0.
Exactly.
0.
Not to say that anybody commenting on our YouTube videos are bad.
Same number as J-Dog. I've never commented on a YouTube video in my life. I don't even have a YouTube account.
Like I said, not to rag on anybody for doing it, because please.
No, I understand. Actually, the thing is, if you have something positive to say, I just don't understand why you go on a video and you legitimately hated it. Why did you watch it to the end and then waste your time to comment? That makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
If I don't like something, I just change the channel. I'm like, that's like a really, really shitty movie that's on, you're like, I'm shutting this off. I'm not like writing the guy and be like, hey, asshole, you that made that movie, this fucking sucked and you deserve to get your ass kicked. No, I'm shutting it off. I'm just putting on a different one. You know what I mean? Like, why would I waste any more of my time or energy on something that sucked?
Especially in a Netflix age. I mean, just skip it and move on.
Right. So I never understood that, yeah. But if you like it and you want to hear, like, for example, when we say leave comments below and, like, tell us what you want to talk about and shit like that, well, that makes sense because this is your source of entertainment.
Yeah,
you're watching it. But if you didn't like it, why did you even watch it to the fucking end?
Presumably you'd watched it to the end, right? Because if you commented on the video, like, you're there to the end.
Correct.
Like, it's an ending deed to comment on the damn thing. I don't know, but I was just saying for that guy, not that we really get that many of that. That's the kind of the cool thing. Like, on this channel, there's hardly that many negative comments.
It's kind of niche, though, and like I said, the underground and, kind of
yeah,
it's a little more united.
But the power of the internet and YouTube, like, auto-correcting, I mean, I'm sure if you were watching and saw my suggestions there that aren't just not, you know what I mean?
If we do a video that's more controversial to where it's, not what I mean by controversial, that's going to translate more to the mainstream, like somebody that doesn't even listen to metal, right?
Yeah.
For whatever reason in the title that they might click on it and watch it, whatever that may be, then we'll probably get negative shit because they're not going to be Sacred Reich. What the fuck is that? Suffocation, like, and then whatever the hell we might say that might offend their pussy. You know what I mean?
You're right, and that's why I actually feel that's not to rag on Midnight and be that guy that, for a rising band of success. That I was going to say, though, in terms of this channel getting negative remarks, that Athenar Cribs video is by far, in my life, though, be it a musician that's toured the world, put out his own music, made this podcast, record labels, blah, 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 not to sound like an ass, but, I'm just saying, those credentials, never really seen anything negative, really. And then it's that video where I get ragged on the most.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I honestly think cute girls in the mold. I made a smart-ass remark of scoot over, I want to sit by another man, and, Athenar went with it. And then I love Midnight, and I didn't want to see this guy talking to another guy. I wanted to see the cute girl who started us all off. I mean, it was a pretty long video. I was going to rag on myself that edited this down much quicker.
I seem like something stupid to complain about to me.
Very stupid to complain about, because especially with the remark that it was a long video, that the point in which
video is worth watching just for the popcorn button.
Well, the funny thing, yeah, exactly. But the point in which I enter the video is like 5 or 6 minutes in. You know what I mean? So if it was so horrible, why were you sticking around that long?
Who the fuck watches a metal video just for a chick anyways? I mean, if you're going to want to see that, just watch porn.
Well, but that's the point, like the indicator. Like, you get what I'm just saying. Like, I'm not in the video for a whole 5 minutes. And then I come out of nowhere.
I don't get it.
Like, you know what I mean? You're that disgruntled. Like,
if I'm watching anything that's Midnight, I'm not. I don't get it.
What, you're not watching the Cribs video?
But I wasn't watching it to see chicks.
Yeah. Well, hey, and the last thing then, speaking of comments on there, and I'm going to pull this back up just so you can see it to believe it, brah. Let's go here to the Reaper. Fuck it. I'll paraphrase it then. On the Athenar Cribs, and just said, yeah, I didn't know. So he sings about sluts and Satan, but is a Christian? And it's just like, I can only assume that don't let the Christmas tree fool you then. Because it's like, where did that come from? And I'm thinking the Christmas tree.
I don't know.
And then I'm wondering, why are you commenting on YouTube when you should be researching Christmas to see how non-Christian it is anymore, how pagan it is, and especially anymore, right?
I don't know, man. I don't follow that stuff.
Well, you know well enough anyway. Well, there you go. So even if you're one of those people that you don't want us comment until you feel like it's cool and you're safe to do so, we obviously consider everybody's point here on the show. So definitely leave a comment on this video episode wherever you're consuming this. What is that comment? At this point, I don't entirely know, but maybe it's, do you agree that there maybe is a etiquette to going to a show that wearing the band that you're going to go see should or should not happen? You shouldn't jam them. Whatever it is that you feel compelled to talk about, but particularly that, let it be known, because we definitely would love to talk about as we do on this show. But hey, if you're new here, do all that YouTube jargon, subscribe, click a like, do the notifications. Better off, follow the link in the description to Reaper Metal Productions, a Bandcamp page where there's awesome jams, Hells Headbangers, more awesome jams. And if you're one of those guys that's passionate about metal, you'll be on with hours worth of entertainment. So do that. And when you do, we'll see you here because you subscribed and you know about it. And then we'll talk to you next time.